Kia ora. High pressure through the weekend made plenty of fine, dry and sunny weather. However, things are set to change this week, especially as we head in towards Wednesday and Thursday, with heavier rainfall for many parts of New Zealand. Keep an eye on the forecast as we go through the week. However, before we get there, the rest of the afternoon is looking pretty settled beneath the high pressure. Most of us in for a dry and clear looking afternoon. Plenty of fine and sunny weather as we head in towards the evening time. Now overnight we'll keep hold of the high pressure. We'll start to find cloud returning, particularly perhaps some pockets of mist and fog up across the north side. And you can see there's a fair bit of cloud waiting out towards the west. And as that pushes towards us, we'll find those western areas catching that cloud, and even some wetter weather in towards the likes of Fiordland. Now you can see, if we trace that band of rainfall up towards the north and the west, at the start of that next area of low pressure, that's what brings our wet weather on Wednesday. But for many of us, as we go through the night time, we'll find it's a relatively mild night. 6s and 7s are minimum temperatures across the North Island, and perhaps a few spots in the central parts of Otago down to about 3 degrees. But most of the places on the South Island, a relatively mild night for you as well. The 1st of October tomorrow is looking like a decently dry day for many parts of the North Island. However, we'll find more cloud as we head through the daytime, and that cloud will thicken up enough to bring perhaps an isolated shower through parts of Northland and the Bay of Plenty, perhaps over the higher ground of Taranaki as well. But most of our rainfall on Tuesday will be down in the south, with the rain becoming more persistent and across a large area as we head towards the end of the day, stretching up that western area, and we'll find some rainfall making its way back in towards Southland and Otago. The next area of real rainfall, though, following that front all the way up towards those low pressure systems waiting in the Tasman Sea. So for the North Island, we start off with a bit of mist and murk around the parts of Waikato, perhaps a Bay of Plenty. And we will find the cloud thickens up through the daytime. You can see these light flecks of blue across the higher ground, perhaps indicating an odd shower here and there, but really very much the exception. Most spots I think will stay dry, always a fair bit of cloud here and there. But for the best of the sunshine, best of the brightness, head towards this eastern coast of the North Island, where we'd like to find it stays dry and fine through the daytime and pretty warm as well. Highs in Napier once again at around about 20 degrees Celsius, 19 for Auckland, a bit cooler in Wellington there, 15 degrees Celsius. Down on towards the South Island, we'll find plenty of dry weather still through likes of Canterbury and Marlborough and Nelson. The cloud on the western coast will thicken up through the daytime. Particularly find that cloud spin across in towards Otago and South Canterbury as well. The wet weather starts off in Fiordland, moves across in towards Southland and Otago by the afternoon, and then spreads its way northwards up that western coast. And as we go through in towards Wednesday, we'll find that rain becomes more persistent and heavier through there. So we have already got some severe weather watches around for the parts of the South Island with that rainfall as it arrives on Wednesday. Along with the wet weather, though, we have still got some pretty mild temperatures. Highs again of 20 degrees Celsius in Christchurch, and overnight temperatures 6s and 7s, probably at the coolest for many spots on the South Island. Like I say though, Wednesday is a day of change. We lose the high pressure, low pressure becomes a much more active feature and brings that wet weather back on towards the South Island. Some heavy spells of rain through parts of Westland, up in towards the Grey District, in towards Bulla, and even up in towards those northern areas, with that subtle change to more of a northerly feed of air, pushing that rainfall in towards the Tasman area. So particularly those areas west of Motueka, but also the ranges out towards the east of Nelson City, places like the Richmond and Bryant ranges, and even in towards the Rye Valley as well. You can see by the end of the day, we'll also find that rainfall in through Northland. Those darker blues indicating some heavier spells of rain. And while we've still got a bit of cold air down south, up at the higher ground of Otago and Southland, we could find that rainfall as snow through the likes of, say, the higher parts of Southland as well. So down to around about 500 or 600 metres. So worth remembering that even though it's October, we can still have that snowfall through there. So we have got some severe weather watches for that rainfall already in place for places like Westland, Bulla, and across in towards parts of the Tasman district. Head along to the Met Service website for more information about those. It's very likely we'll find these areas upgraded to warnings as we head through the next few days. We become more and more certain about the areas impacted by this rainfall, and we may well find more areas added to the watches, particularly places like Northland, perhaps in Auckland, the Coromandel, the Bay of Plenty, particularly these eastern areas here could catch that rainfall, especially as we head through Wednesday into Thursday. You can see that front moves across, that rainfall continuing to feed in towards those areas in the Bay of Plenty, particularly the higher ground through there. But also we'll find the winds in this clockwise fashion pushing this rainfall in towards particularly those southern areas of Canterbury and also Otago. So worth keeping an eye on the forecast for those areas as well, with a wetter few days for you for Thursday and Friday. So do keep a very close eye on the forecast. And as ever, you can find all the latest updates, and particularly updates on these watches and warnings, over at metservice.com.